Olamide Badu. Now the news in detail. The interim national chairman of the African Democratic Congress and former Senate President David Mark has described the issues of widespread poverty, insecurity, economic hardship, and other challenges plaguing northern Nigeria as self-inflicted. Mark made this assertion while delivering a keynote address on Saturday at the ongoing third expanded meeting of the National Political Consultative Group, NPCG, in Abuja. Mark urged northern leaders to end the culture of blame and acknowledge that they are responsible for the region's challenges. The northern branch of the NPCG, which last convened on May 26, aims to foster unity among northern political leaders and strengthen collaboration to function as a cohesive interest group, ideally within a single political party. On the July 1st, the African Democratic Congress was unveiled as an opposition political platform to challenge President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 elections. Reports say NPCG North is convened to facilitate consultations towards achieving the objective of uniting Northerners to wrest power from the Tinubu-led government in the 2027 presidential election following accusations of marginalization of the region by the government. Well, in the meantime, the Northwest Zonal Public Hearing on Constitution Review on Saturday commenced in Kano State. The exercise will hold for 2 days. The discussion is part of efforts to amend the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to align with contemporary realities. The key issues to address in the Constitution include electoral reforms and adjudication. Judicial reforms are focused on case management and administration, enhancements to local government administration, and the involvement of traditional institutions in contemporary governance. Other issues include promoting human rights, ensuring gender equity and inclusion in governance, the devolution and distribution of powers, the structure of the federation, and concerns related to security and policing. States are already making their presentations and submissions. So far, Jigawa, Katsina, and Kano, out of the 7 states of the region, have made their submissions. At the hearing, stakeholders from the 7 states, including civil society, organized interest groups, traditional institutions, and professional associations, are articulating their various positions on all issues related to constitutional amendments. Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin, who is chairing the hearing, declared the event open. Barau noted that the Senate was not predisposed to any particular position or positions of amendments, but will fully gauge the pulse of the general public to arrive at a consensus on all proposed amendments in consonance with extant legislative processes. Meanwhile, Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has ordered a full-scale investigation into the alleged involvement of the State Commissioner for Transport, Ibrahim Namadi, in the controversial bail of a suspected drug baron Suleiman Wawu. The governor's directive follows public uproar and mounting concerns after reports emerged that the commissioner's name featured in political or official documentation reportedly used to secure the suspect's release. A statement issued on Saturday by the governor's spokesman, Sanusi Baturi Dawa King Tofa, said the state government was treating the matter with the seriousness it deserves, noting that any attempt to shield individuals suspected of sabotaging the fight against drug-related crimes would not be tolerated. Although no official response has been issued by the Commissioner for Transport as of press time, the formation of the investigative panel suggests a decisive move by the Kano State government to maintain public trust and ensure transparency in governance. The alleged drug baron at the center of the controversy, Dan Wawu, is said to have been arrested on charges related to narcotics trafficking. His sudden release, which allegedly involved political interference, has raised eyebrows across the state. And now, Indian authorities have arrested 2 Nigerians for overstaying and involvement in drug-related activities in Tolochokwi, a suburb of Hyderabad in India. The Nigerians, 29-year-old Afu Clement and 19-year-old Lazarus Favor, were arrested by the Hyderabad Narcotics Enforcement Wing on Wednesday and may be deported to Nigeria. According to Metro India, Clement entered India on a business visa and was previously arrested in a 2022 cheating case by Chandigarh police and was jailed for 6 months. After his release, he stayed in Delhi without any legal employment and has overstayed his visa, which expired in 2019. Lazarus, on the other hand, entered India on a student visa for studies in science and technology, but started dealing with drug offenders. The Indian authorities said in a report that the activities of the Nigerians were deemed a threat to national security, prompting HNU to coordinate with the Foreigners Regional Registration Office to initiate their deportation. Well, in another development, the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, has tackled United Kingdom conservative leader of Nigerian descent, Kemi Badenoch, over alleged false claims about Nigerian women and their citizenship status. Badenoch, in an interview with CNN's Farid Zakaria, had said she is unable to transfer her Nigerian citizenship to her children because of her gender. Badenoch discussed immigration policies and the differences between Britain and countries like Nigeria. During an interview at the weekend, Dabiri-Erewa faulted Badenoch's controversial statement, suggesting that women could not get Nigerian citizenship simply by giving birth. Dabiri-Erewa condemned Badenoch's decision to air the claim publicly, saying, "When you denigrate your country, we'll reply you." End of quote. Dabiri-Erewa noted that the focus should not be on Badenoch alone, as many other Nigerians are making remarkable strides abroad. She commended Nigerians contributing positively in the diaspora. While acknowledging the many distress cases involving Nigerians abroad, Dabiri-Erewa insisted that the Commission remains committed to protecting and celebrating Nigerians overseas. She said diaspora engagement must be grounded in truth, responsibility, and a deep sense of patriotism. And now President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the passing of a journalist with the Tribune newspapers and a member of the State House Press Corps, Leon Osigbe. Osigbe, who was also the Abuja bureau chief of the newspaper, died on Friday night during a brief illness. The president's condolence was contained in a statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, on Saturday. In his condolence message, Tinubu eulogized Osigbe as a veteran State House correspondent and a professional whose unwavering dedication to truth, balance, and ethical journalism garnered him immense respect across the media landscape among public officials and from readers nationwide. But moving on now, the Nigerian Army says its troops have killed scores of terrorists and apprehended several others in a series of recent coordinated and intelligence-driven operations across the country. This is contained in a statement by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Apollonia Anili, on Saturday in Abuja. Anili said the troops had between July 22 and 24 neutralized 7 terrorists, arrested 10 criminal suspects, received 19 surrendered terrorist family members, and recovered assorted arms, ammunition, and logistics equipment in multiple theaters of operation. In Borno, she said the troops of 151 Task Force Battalion ambushed and neutralized 2 ISWAP and JAS terrorists in Bula Daburu village, capturing logistics items including 8 bicycles, bags of food supplies, and mats. Anele also revealed that troops of 222 Battalion neutralized 1 terrorist during an ambush ahead of a Lao Dam in Konduga local government area. She added that 19 family members of terrorists, comprising 7 adult females and 12 children, surrendered to 202 Battalion in Bama, citing unbearable conditions in terrorist enclaves. Now let's take you to Anambra, where the state government has dismantled and shut a notorious baby factory syndicate masquerading as a hospital in Imonia, Oyi local government area of the state, in a sting operation against human trafficking. The illegal facility, operating under the name Mother and Child Hospital and Maternity, located at One School Road near Tajin University, was sealed on Saturday in an exercise that began on Friday after months of surveillance and intelligence gathering. During the raid carried out by the state government, officials from the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with security agencies, key staff and operatives of the facility, including 5 pregnant women and 10 other persons, were arrested after it was found that the facility was being used for medical malpractices. Addressing journalists after storming the premises, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afam Obidike, said the so-called hospital was found to be operating with a falsified license and was owned by a self-proclaimed medical doctor. And unfortunately, several persons were feared dead on Friday night after a trailer, lost control and rammed into them along the Chisco Park Junction in Amechi, Nnewi South local government area of Anambra State. Reports say the fatal accident occurred around 9:30 p.m. when the driver of the trailer experienced a brake failure and crashed into pedestrians on the roadside, resulting in multiple fatalities. The incident, which also captured on the Amechi citywide CCTV system, showed some of the knocked down victims lying on the ground, while some residents and other road users were seen bemoaning the incident and offering rescue assistance to the victims. Some eyewitnesses near the scene told newsmen the accident late on Friday occurred within a short period of time, as the victims, who were mostly doing their usual night businesses, did not see the incoming trailer toward them. The spokesperson for the Federal Road Safety Corps, Anambra Sector, Margaret Anabi, confirms the incident to newsmen on Saturday, but could not give the actual casualty figure. And now, the managing director of the Nasarawa State Urban Development Board, Yahaya Wada, says the newly constructed Lafia flyover is in good condition and did not collapse. Wada conducted journalists around the bridge in Lafia to counter wide speculations on social media that the newly constructed Lafia flyover underpass bridge, recently commissioned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, collapsed. He called on the people not to entertain fear using the bridge and to go about their normal businesses involving the bridge, adding that the bridge is intact, solid, and will not collapse. You may recall that a few days ago, news of the Nasarawa flyover underpass collapse spread widely on social media. However, after conducting journalists on a tour of the bridge, which was still in good condition, the Nasarawa State Urban Development Board boss dismissed the rumor as the handiwork of mischief makers. Well, you're still watching News Hour on Voice of the People TV. More stories after this break. Stay with us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Welcome back. The police in Ogun have arrested 2 prime suspects in connection with the death of a teenager, 16-year-old Master Lawal Wahab. The spokesperson of the command, Chief Superintendent of Police, Omolola Odutola, said officers from the division arrested the suspects, identified as 25-year-old Salawu, as well as another identified as Shirifusi, and others in connection with the murder. In a statement, the police said the missing teenager was found dead with his hat, wrist, and genitals harvested by persons suspected to be ritualists. The deceased, until his mysterious disappearance, had been staying with his grandmother before he was declared missing by his father, Lawal Olumide. However, his lifeless and decomposed body was discovered along the Old Express Road on the 23rd of July 2025, with his remains severely mutilated. The Ogun Police Command, which confirmed the incident, said it is investigating the case suspected to be a ritual murder. Now, the Seme-Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has made record seizures of 4,119 bags of 50-kilogram foreign parboiled rice being smuggled into the country in 5 trucks along the Lagos-Abidjan corridor over the past 2 weeks. Speaking at a news conference, the area controller, Ben, revealed that the seized rice and the trucks used to transport them have combined duty-paid value of 919.5 million naira. He added that operatives also intercepted and seized 250 bills of second-hand clothing, 898 parcels of cannabis sativa, 40 bags of 50-kilogram sugar, and 64 bags of 50-kilogram flour, among other items, bringing the total duty paid value to 1.26 billion naira.
Yes, I've ever made that a go. Okay. Imagine having a 5 trucks like this. We have one at the scanning because that one spoiled. I don't know what happened to the engine. Yeah, you cannot repack it. Then we have 3 here. We have uploaded one here. You can imagine if they allowed the whole of these trucks to enter into the market. That means the local industry, local milling industry will just collapse. So the federal government has a reason for banning this rice, and we decided to seize them. And we are warning those smugglers that they should stop bringing them into the border. So it will never happen under my watch. They are like this.
From the unapproved route?
Yes, unapproved route.
Coming into the country?
Yes.
Okay.
We are, for the past 2-3 weeks, we have been monitoring it. We had intelligence, and we sat down. We are mapping out on how we will arrange it.
The controller warned about the economic consequences of rice smuggling into Nigeria and cautioned against attempting to smuggle goods through the Seme border route.
Transferring employment to those foreign countries. When you are patronizing foreign products, you are transferring employment to those foreign countries. Nigerians spend about $2.2 billion every year importing rice from Asia. Some they will smuggle to Benin Republic. 90% of the rice that come into Benin Republic and they are destined for Nigeria market. They normally try to smuggle them in. So what we try to do, we try to arrest them, to seize them, and that is exactly what we have done. As we go on, I just deliberately decided not to offload these ones, so that Nigerians will see them in their proper perspective, and that is exactly what we are going to do. By seizing this right, we are telling them that Seme corridor is not a federal grant to operate, and also to disabuse the minds of Nigerians that smuggling of rice is equivalent with Seme border. It is not true. Every day here we sacrifice everything. My men, officers and men are sleeping in the bush every day to make sure that this rice doesn't come in.
Now, Nigeria has marked a significant milestone in its efforts to strengthen cancer care infrastructure and improve access to specialized treatment. This follows the official commissioning of the newly completed Oncology Center at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital in Edo State. Speaking at the event, representatives from the Ministry of Health emphasized the importance of the facility in addressing the growing burden of cancer in Nigeria. Rhoda Johnny completes the report.
And improve access to specialized treatment. This follows the official commissioning of the newly completed Oncology Center at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital in Edo State. Speaking at the event, representatives from the Ministry of Health emphasized the importance of the facility in addressing the growing burden of cancer in Nigeria, noting that the UBTH Oncology Center is equipped with modern diagnostic and treatment technologies capable of saving thousands of patients annually.
This has been a promise delivered. In 2 years, we've embarked on a landmark transformation on Nigeria's health sector. We've delivered now 3 world-class oncology centers, with the one here in Benin as the 3rd one, and 3 others well advanced, money identified, budget appropriated, arrangements made in Zaria, Jos, and in Lagos. Additional ones in Maiduguri. Next week will be commissioned, not through NSIA, UCH, through a PPP. So there are others. So the whole infrastructural landscape for health sector is changing in our eyes.
In his remarks, the Chief Medical Doctor of UBTH, Professor Darlington Obasike, commended the federal government for its investment and he reiterated the hospital's commitment to delivering high-quality, patient-centered cancer care.
Today's event marks a milestone. It's going to bring succor not just to the indigenes of Edo State. As we all know, UBTH is a referral center for all the states in the South-South region. So the access to care, to cancer care, oncology care, the journey to the medical journey and the financial application is going to be reduced with this.
Delivering a goodwill message on behalf of Governor Monday Pueblo, Deputy Governor Dennis Idawusa acknowledged the Honorable Minister of Health and affirmed that the project is not only for Edo State, but also intended to serve the 6 South-South states and other regions across the country.
For us in South-South, the project we are commissioning today is not restricted to Edo State alone. It's for the 6 states of the South-South region. And we want to say thank you, Mr. President.
In Benin, Brother Johnny, UPTV News.
Rhoda, thank you. Coming up next, foreign, business, sports, entertainment stories. After this break, stay with us. Now, Central African Republic's president, Faustin Archange Touadéra, said on Thursday he will run for a 3rd term later this year, seeking to end his rule or extend his rule into a 2nd decade after scrapping term limits in 2023. 68-year-old Touadéra announced his candidacy for the December 2025 presidential election at a meeting of his party, the United Hearts Movement, in the Central African Republic's capital, Bangui. Since taking office in 2016, Touadéra has enlisted outside forces to stay in power amid persistent civil conflict, including mercenaries from Russia's Wagner militia, who intervened in 2018 on the side of the government. But still in Africa, Cameroon's Electoral Commission has rejected the candidacy of Maurice Kamto, the main rival to President Paul Biya in an upcoming presidential election. Reports say the move raises the risks of protest and the likelihood of another win for the incumbent. The chief of the Electoral Commission, Elikam, announced the decision in a news conference on Saturday when he read out a list of 13 approved candidates, which did not include Kamto. No reasons were given for Kamto's exclusion. Those not listed have 2 days to appeal. 92-year-old Biya has been in power for 43 years and is the world's oldest 7 head of state. He announced his intention earlier this month to seek re-election in the October 12 vote. Kamto had come in 2nd place with 14% of the vote in the last election in 2018, which Biya won by a landslide amid allegations of fraud. And early results of an unprecedented vote in Taiwan aimed at ousting politicians accused of being too close to China indicate that all have retained their seats, Thousands of Taiwanese went to the polls on Saturday in what has been termed the Dabamian or Great Recall vote, initiated by a civic movement. The vote result was closely watched as it could have altered the balance of power in Taiwan, which has seen months of political deadlock between the Democratic Progressive Party (DPP) government and the legislature dominated by the opposition Kuomintang and its allies. But the early result shows the opposition keeps its majority. A small number of votes are still being counted. In the meantime, China says it intends to create an organization to foster global cooperation on artificial intelligence, positioning itself as an alternative to the US as the two vie for influence over the transformative technology. China wants to help coordinate global efforts to regulate fast-evolving AI technology and share the country's advances, Premier Lin Kang told the annual World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai on Saturday. President Donald Trump's administration on Wednesday released an AI blueprint aiming to vastly expand U.S. AI exports to allies in a bid to maintain the American edge over China in the critical technology. Li did not name the United States, but appeared to refer to Washington's efforts to stymie China's advances in AI, warning that the technology risked becoming the exclusive game of a few countries and companies. And now a major security operation has ramped up as Donald Trump played golf on the first day of his private visit to Scotland. The U.S. president teed off at his luxury resort, Trump Turnberry in South Ayrshire at about 10, having arrived at Prestwick Airport on Friday evening. The day passed without incidents, while hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Aberdeen and Edinburgh to protest against the visit. Trump is due to meet UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and Scotland's First Minister John Swinney over the next few days, as well as opening a second 18-hole course at his estate in Aberdeenshire. And away from that report, Cambodia has called for an immediate ceasefire with Thailand as the two countries have seen more than 30 people killed, including civilians, in the ongoing border clashes. Cambodia's ambassador to the UN, Shi Kyo, said his country asked for a truce unconditionally, adding that Phnom Penh also wanted a peaceful resolution of the dispute. Thailand's Foreign Minister Maris Changampongsa said on Saturday that Cambodia needed to show genuine sincerity in ending the conflict for ceasefire talks to proceed. At least 32 people, soldiers and civilians, have been killed and nearly 200,000 displaced in the two South Asian countries who accuse each other of firing the first shots on Thursday. Fighting continued for a third day on Saturday. Thailand's military said the Cambodians launched attacks in a new area near the coast in the south, but were pushed back by the Navy. Well, in business news, Japan's $550 billion investment package agreed in this week's U.S. tariff deal could help finance a Taiwanese firm building semiconductor plants in the U.S. Japan's top trade negotiator Ryosei Akazawa said on Saturday. Japan agreed to the sweeping U.S.-bound investment initiative, which includes equity, loans, and guarantees in exchange for lower tariffs on its exports to the U.S. However, the structure of the scheme remains unclear. The U.S. is significantly reliant on Taiwan's TSMC for advanced chip manufacturing, raising economic security concerns due to geographic proximity to China. TSMC announced plans for a $100 billion U.S. investment with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House in March, on top of a $65 billion pledge for 3 plants in the state of Arizona, one of which is up and running. Japan is expected to use state-owned Japan Bank for International Cooperation and Nippon Export and Investment Insurance for the investments. A recent law revision has enabled JBIC to finance foreign companies deemed critical to Japan's supply chains. So business news, the Naira closed the week on a positive note, gaining 4.52 kobo against the US dollar at the official market on Friday. According to the latest figures from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the Naira traded at 1,534.72 Naira per dollar. The figure represents a modest gain of 0.05% on Thursday, when Naira was valued at 1,534.79 to the dollar. However, the Naira had experienced minimal losses earlier in the week, trading at 1,535.62 on Wednesday and 1,535.24 on Tuesday. The trading week began with a minor decline of 20 kobo on Monday. Now, the Dangote Group has appointed Emmanuel Ikazobo, an independent non-executive director of the group, as the new chairman board of directors of its subsidiary, Dangote Cement. Ikazobo's appointment came after Africa's richest man and founder of Dangote Cement PLC, Aliko Dangote, announced his retirement as a director and the chairman of the board of directors with effect from July 25, 2025. According to a statement, Aliko Dangote relinquished his position as chairman and retired from the board to focus more attention on refinery, petrochemicals, fertilizer, and government relations. The statement issued by the Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer of the Dangote Group, Anthony Chejina, said Hajia Maria Aliko Dangote was also appointed to the board of directors of the company, while Professor Dorothy Ufat retired from the board. Well, in sports news, Nigeria's Super Falcons will be chasing a 10th title at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations on Saturday as they file out against the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco at the 2024 WAFCON final in Rabat, Morocco. For the Atlas Lionesses, who are the host, it is their second consecutive final and another shot at glory against the powerhouse of African women's football. Nigeria, winners on 9 occasions, have dubbed this year's campaign Mission X, targeting their 10th continental crown. Against the Atlas Lionesses, who, as host, will be enjoying the support of a home crowd, the West Africans are set to face a side that has not lost a match in the tournament. To get to the final, the Super Falcons in the semi-final against South Africa's Bayana needed a 94th minute goal to win 2-1. Morocco had an even harder route to the final at the Stade Olympique in Rabat, defeating the Black Queens of Ghana 4-2 on penalties after the game ended 1-1 in normal and extra time. In the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has dispatched a high-level presidential delegation to Rabat, Morocco, to cheer on the Super Falcons as they face the host nation in the final match of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The president said the move reflects the full support of the federal government and Nigeria for the national women's football team, who are seeking a record 10th continental title. In a personal message addressed to the team ahead of Saturday night's final at the Olympic Stadium in Rabat, Tinubu praised the Falcons for their inspiring performance throughout the tournament, describing them as symbols of national pride and resilience. Now, applications supposedly from Pep Guardiola and Xavi Hernandez to manage India have both turned out to be hoaxes, the country's football association says. The All India Football Federation, AIFF, said emails claiming to be from the two coaches were not genuine. Earlier this week, reports in the Indian and Spanish media claimed that India's technical director, Subrata Paul, had admitted Xavi's interest in the position. However, on Saturday, the AIFF external published a statement saying they had received hoax applications. Earlier this month, Catalan coach Manolo Marquez resigned from his role as India manager so that he could focus on his club side, FC Goa. The AIFF advised the vacancy publicly and said it received 170 applications. Xavi has not coached since leaving Barcelona in May 2024, while Guardiola's contract in Manchester City runs until June 2027. And in the world of entertainment, the popular Charlie Boy bus stop in Lagos has been renamed after rapper Olamide by the Bariga Local Council Development Area. The announcement was made by the Executive Chairman of Bariga LCDA, Kolade Alabi David, during the inauguration of some infrastructural projects in the LCDA on Friday. In a video circulating online, Kolade announced that following the renaming of the Ajidagan Street to Olamide at Dedeji Bado Street, the Charlie Boy bus stop will now be known as Bado Bus Stop. In addition to renaming Charlie Boy bus stop, the LCDA also renamed Elijah Road after legendary musician Sonia Day and Ifeanyi Street after Congo Asukruna Nice. Oh, that would be Gungwaso Kruna Nice. And now, Nollywood actor James Ikechukwu Esomoga, popularly known as Jim Ike, has clarified his controversial birthday message to actress Kate Henshaw. Jim playfully slammed the actress in a message shared on his Instagram page last weekend, which he penned on behalf of his 23-year-old self for treating him like a baby brother when he clearly wanted something intimate. He recounted how Henshaw was good to him, giving him money and helping him out with auditions, but never let him out of the friend zone. He said if the actress had allowed him to experiment with my seed, they would have made a gorgeous human. Jim further slammed Henshaw for running off to marry that Oyibo, with whom he said she had a gorgeous, lovely baby. However, in a recent interview, Jim offered a clarification of his message, saying there is nothing sexual about it. Although he insisted that he meant every word he wrote, he explained that the message was a simple expression of a deep, long-standing friendship with someone he has known for over 2 decades. He noted that the post was a wordplay and there is a mutual feeling between him and Henshaw. And it's a wrap for us on News Hour, but before we go, a quick look at the headlines. We told you that David Mack has defined northern problems as self-inflicted. Also, hearing for Northwest begins in Kano. Kano orders probe into Commissioner's alleged role in drug barons' release. And 2 Nigerians arrested in India over drugs face deportation. Tinubu and Minister mourn late Tribune Abuja Bureau Chief. And troops kills scores of terrorists, nabs suspects in nationwide operation. Anambra shuts baby factory and rescues teenagers. On the foreign scene, China proposes new global AI cooperation organization. And in business news, Naira strengthens against dollar and closes week at 1,534.72. In sports news, Tinubu chairs Super Falcons ahead and sends presidential delegation to Rabat. In the world of entertainment, Lagos local government renames Charlie Boy bus stop after rapper Olamide Bado. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. On other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. I am Vivian Uguche. Thank you for watching.